I leveled the marksman rogue to the max level of 25 during the first Diablo IV beta weekend, and in this video I will share my leveling build that will have you absolutely flying through the first 25 levels. This marksman rogue leveling build shines in both single and AoE situations and keeps you moving to make for efficient and smooth gameplay. In this guide I will go over abilities, rotation, stats, gear, and how to level to 25 fast. We'll go over the abilities, but I wanted to have this section so you guys could see which skill we will be taking per level. For our basic ability, we're going to take Puncture. Our core ability, we're going to take Rapid Fire. Our agility skill, we'll take Dash. Subterfuge skill, Concealment. Imbuement skill, Shadow Imbuement. And ultimate, we're going to go for Rain of Arrows. So for the basic ability, Puncture, it throws a blade with every crit or every third attack slowing the enemies, and once you upgrade it, if at least 2 of your blades attacks a target, that target becomes vulnerable, allowing for modifying damage from other abilities. Once you are level 15 and complete the rogue quest, Puncture will also build combo points, with every combo point adding an extra arrow and damage to Rapid Fire. And for the core ability is Rapid Fire. It casts an arrow, each dealing damage. Once upgraded, it will increase crit for every subsequent arrow by 5 up to 40%. It will also regenerate 15 focus if Rapid Fire hits vulnerable target, so you will follow up your Puncture or Shadow Imbuement with Rapid Fire to have a constant flow of energy to use more abilities. And for the agility skill Dash, it does exactly what it says, dashing you forward, dealing damage. This is a great skill to use if you're cornered. Make sure to have a charge ready just in case you need it. It also deals damage to every enemy in its path, so you will pair this up with Shadow Imbuement, which will spread Shadow Imbuement to all enemies hit, creating a huge AoE DPS increase. For your Subterfuge skill, it's Concealment. This is another great escape ability. It brings you into stealth and damage cannot break it, so only you using your abilities will break you out of stealth. Once upgraded, it will also grant 40 energy and also guarantees the next ability will critically hit, so you want to pair this up with Rapid Fire out of stealth to take advantage of that combo. For the Imbuement skill, that's Shadow Imbuement. This skill has been definitely my favorite for Rogue. It makes it so your next 2 attacks infects enemies, causing an initial explosion and keeps them infected for 6 seconds. If the enemy dies in those 6 seconds, it causes an additional explosion to all enemies around it. If it does not die, it deals damage only to the infected enemy. Once upgraded, it makes it so you have 25 increased crit chance to all enemies under 35% health. It also causes the initial explosion to make a target vulnerable, which is why we will use Shadow Imbuement into a dash to infect as many enemies as possible to make them vulnerable, and follow up with Concealment and Rapid Fire, which will usually kill mobs and cause chain explosions and really fast clears. And for your ultimate skill, it's Rain of Arrows. You get this pretty late in leveling, but it is a strong AoE attack and will help you clear out mobs. So now for the rotation. The point of this build is to gather as many mobs as possible and make as many of them vulnerable, and use Rapid Fire to bring them down. Puncture will be your main attack to make an enemy vulnerable until we get Shadow Imbuement at level 18. For your AoE damage rotation, first you activate Shadow Imbuement, then dash through a big chunk of enemies to infect them with Shadow Imbuement, cast Rain of Arrows if it's a tough group, activate Concealment for the guaranteed critical hit, and then spam Rapid Fire to kill enemies, and repeat this rotation. For your single target damage rotation, you cast Puncture close enough to hit twice, applying vulnerable. The hit boxes are pretty lenient with this, so you don't have to get too close. Use Concealment for the guaranteed critical hit, use Shadow Imbuement, cast Rapid Fire while the target is still vulnerable, and when vulnerable status falls off, repeat the rotation. For single target, you should play around with the combo points. I like to use Puncture 3 times to get the 3 combo points, and then go into Concealment, Shadow Imbuement, Rapid Fire combo, but you will not always have that chance for all 3 at the same time. For the rogue stats, we're going to prioritize Dexterity, then Intelligence, then Strength, and finally Willpower. Dexterity is the primary attribute for Rogue, and it multiplies the damage dealt by 0.1% per point, and it also increases the chance to dodge attacks by 0.025% per point. And Intelligence, each point increases the critical strike chance by 0.02% and all resistances by 0.05%. Strength increases armor by 1 and resource regeneration by 0.1% per point. It also increases your armor and reduces damage taken by 9.2. And finally, willpower. It increases your overpowered damage by 0.25% per point, and also healing received is increased 0.1% per point. Now gear. The fastest way to get gear are dungeon bosses, chests, and local events, which are the orange circles on your map. For gear, I would not spend any gold on gear so that you can upgrade better weapons at 25. From what I saw, you needed a lot of it, so saving all your gold for 25 would be your best bet. For your weapon, focus on weapon damage, dexterity, core ability modifier, damage modifiers, crit, anything that makes you deal more damage. And for gear, focus on dexterity, core ability modifiers, vulnerable damage modifiers, crit, and anything that makes you deal more damage. Now for leveling. For leveling, finishing quests will be your bread and butter for experience, as it gives you good experience and opens up more quests, which gives you an easier leveling experience. Focus on completing the main and side quests at towns and complete local events. If you exhaust all quests, start doing the dungeons. I got to 25 finishing all the quests, although I did go into a couple of the dungeons. And a tip, at level 15, do your rogue quest to get the combo points, which will add extra damage and arrows to rapid fire, which equals even more damage for you. The reason you want to save the dungeons for last is that they drop good items, but they scale with levels, so the longer you prolong it, the better items you can get from them once you are max level. I really enjoyed the open beta. I'm thinking I will be maining the marksman rogue, but I am excited to try out both the druid and necromancer, so look out for those videos. If you found this at all useful, please subscribe, and good luck in Diablo IV.